everyone in the Big Red Jelly community and anyone else tuning in. If you've seen these podcasts before, you've probably heard Josh talking to someone off screen named Ben. I am that man. I usually run the tech side, making sure that everything works properly on these podcasts so that nothing, glitches up and freaks out. But I guess I've just been promoted by Josh so that I can start my own podcast kind of thing. So start chipping in some of my knowledge and some things that I've learned here in the entrepreneurial world, as I guess you could call it. So it's been great kind of starting these podcasts because we believe that as entrepreneurs ourselves, we have a very unique situation where, because we're entrepreneurs in the marketing field, we've done a lot of work with medium to small size businesses in the state of Utah and around the country that have either succeeded and thrived or have gone plummeting down and crashed and burned within a matter of months and years because of the wrong business structure and the wrong kind of business plan. So, we're doing really well here at Big Red Jelly, so we want to try and share that knowledge, that experience with other people so that they can experience that same kind of success. So that they can learn from not only our personal story here at Big Red Jelly, but also learn from other companies that we have worked with that have succeeded, and learn from the mistakes of others as well as ourselves, because we've made tons of mistakes along the way. And so that's what these videos are all for. So we hope that you take these videos, you take them to heart, you apply them into your lives so that you can really learn how you can maximize your business, how you can better your marketing, how you can better your branding, how you can better your business systems, your processes, so that everything goes the way that it should in order for you to make it past, those 5-10 year marks. With that being said, let me just share a couple facts. In the United States, 25% of businesses fail in the first year that they're started. And 25%, that's less than, half, that's only a fourth of the businesses. But when you consider that 1,000 businesses are created, I think it's almost every 3 seconds. That is a lot of businesses being shut down and destroyed the first year because of, wrong business strategies, the wrong marketing, the wrong techniques, everything like that. There's so much that applies to it. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about what, the major one that we see that takes businesses, from, if they apply this technique, it takes them from a mediocre mom and pop store to a huge corporation, or from, a very successful, business with a great idea come crumbling down to where they have to give up and go to a regular 9-to-5 job and be a pencil pusher the rest of their life. So let's continue on some of these facts. So 25% of businesses fail in the first year. Out of those 75% that make it, only 80% of those won't make it to see their 5th year. So, you're cutting it down a lot. A lot of those businesses, a majority of those businesses will not make it to their 5th year. And then the final fact is that 90% of those that make it will not see their 10th year. Now that's crazy, right? We all know that, the United States, the world is very extra, uber competitive, and, it's really hard to get traction and keep going. But there's a lot of things that if you just tweak it just a little bit will drastically improve, your business success, the revenue that comes in, the different strategies. And the strategy that I wanted to talk about today was one that, it's the idea of growing properly, not fast, right? So the saying that I'm going to be using a lot today is putting bums in seats. Putting bums in seats is about, you'll hear it a lot with sports, high school sports, college sports, sports that are trying to gain traction here in the United States. They'll say, hey, guys, listen, we got to put bums in seats. We got to put fans in the stands so that we have a loyal and strong and large fan base, so that no matter win or lose, rain or shine, they're there buying tickets, supporting us, so that we have that, that base to build off of. And with that comes, a lot of revenue. They buy jerseys, they buy, all different kinds of things. You get sponsors from these kinds of people once they see the amazing sport that they're playing or the amazing team and the way that it functions. Everything that makes a team successful comes from putting bums in seats. Now, there's a lot of sports coming up in Utah, where we're based. A lot of rugby teams, a lot of lacrosse teams, football, whatever, what have you. There's a lot of sports coming up, and the major mistake that we see from these teams is that they focus on the profits first and building this fan base second. There's a team here in Utah that they'll charge $15 a ticket to a sport that nobody really knows about. And which college student, which person is going to be willing to spend $15 on a ticket to see a sport that they have no idea what's it about, they have no idea how to play it, they have no idea what the rules are, they have no idea what the culture is, they're not that invested. So you're not going to get those kinds of people that you need to go and watch your sporting event. What the ones that we do succeed, the sports teams that do succeed, lower their prices down the first couple years to $8, $6. And they have full stands. People are coming. They're loving the sport. It's, you have nothing to do on a Friday night, so you go and watch a hockey game. It's cheap. It's inexpensive. And people can just go do it. And then once they see, oh, man, this sport is awesome. I love it. I'm hooked. I got to do it. They're willing to spend more to keep watching it and stay invested in this team and in this sport. And so kind of this analogy of putting bums in seats was very interesting to see with these sports teams. Right? How the ones that really succeeded and stuck with this strong fan base and really grew and took off here in Utah were the ones that didn't focus on profits, that realized that it's more important to build a strong and loyal fan base first, the first couple years, rather than making these multi-million-dollar deals and making billions of dollars a year like these NFL teams. They realized that they're not going to get those huge profits those first couple years. So instead of trying to focus on those huge, massive profits, they were still focusing on profits, right? Because that's the main goal of a company or any organization is to focus on profits. They were still focusing on profits, but with more emphasis on building that loyal and strong clientele. Now, looking at that, it's directly related to businesses. The ones that we see succeed are the ones that go out of their way to care for their customers, to go out of their way to build that customer service, to build that fan base, to build that loyal consumer at the beginning part of their business, right? So that when they start growing a little bit more, these loyal consumers, these loyal customers follow with them. We see a lot of businesses. There's a local business that we have here. I'm not going to go into specifics because I don't want them to be embarrassed or anything, but there's a service that a lot of people do. It's popping the backs, the chiropractics. It's a huge market here in Utah. People love chiropractics. They need to get their back rearranged. They have headaches. They have neck problems, whatever. I know one that charges a lot of money to go to your first appointment, and he's struggling. He's in his third or fourth year of business, and he's really struggling to really gain that traction and build a business that works. And I kind of took a step back and I said, hey, who's your clientele? He says, oh man, that's the problem. I don't have many clients. And I go, man, that's your problem. That's your problem. You don't have a lot of clients because nobody wants to pay $45, even though, he's amazing. He's one of the best people that I've ever met, one of the best professionals in this service, and definitely worth $45, trust me. But that is not the way to build clientele, right? If somebody just looks at it and they go, okay, yeah, I can go to this guy and pay $65 for, a service, or I can go to this guy and pay $20 for the exact same service, even though I might have a doubt in my head that this guy's worse because he's charging less, I'm still going to go with him because he's cheaper. I want to save money. So the people that we see succeed, the businesses that we see succeed, are the ones that slightly lower their prices the first couple years that they're in business, and focus on the users. They focus on the consumers of their product or of their service. They say, hey, I know I'm not going to make, a living wage these first couple years. As entrepreneurs, that should be a rule of thumb. You are not going to make $80,000 your first year. You're not going to make $80,000 your second year. You're not going to be able to, buy a private plane and go live on a beach because you started a business. That's not the way that the world works. That you have to be realistic and look at it and say, the first couple years, I have to be okay with taking the loss. I have to be okay with taking a little bit less profit and focusing on the consumers, the clients, and making sure that they're loyal to me and what I offer so that as I go down the road, they stay with me, right? If you just focus on profits right away, you're not going to get any clients. And yeah, sure, you're going to make more money those first couple years, but that's exactly why the majority of businesses fail their first 5 years, is because they get a lot of money, charging a lot, but they don't have a lot of clients to continue that. They don't have that loyal clientele, that large fan base that just rants and raves about them. They leave reviews on Facebook, on Google, on every kind of site, and say, man, this guy's the guy to go to. This guy's the best constructor around. I love this guy. They don't do that. It's always better. That's what we did here at Big Red Jelly, to give you a little bit of a personal background and why we believe this works. When we started out, we focused on building a portfolio. We went around and made videos for free of the city of Orem, the city of Provo, Salt Lake City. We, charged pennies for the exact same service that other corporations and businesses charge thousands of dollars for. And people would come to us and they'd be like, oh yeah, let's do it. Love it. And I'm not going to lie, the first year and a half was extremely hard. We weren't making that much money at all. We were barely making by with our business expenses. We were barely getting by. We all had to get second jobs to make sure that we were, paying our personal expenses, all that sort of stuff. It's not easy, but it's definitely worth it. Now we are at a point where we can go out and we have that portfolio, we have that loyal clientele, we have tons of reviews on Facebook and Google showing that we know what we do works, and showing that other people believe what we do works, and they know that this is the right thing to do. That is what worked for Big Red Jelly, was the first couple years focusing on our clients, focusing on the consumers, making sure that they got what we knew we could deliver. Even though it wasn't at the price point that we wanted or that we needed, we took that sacrifice and now we are thriving because of it. So that is the whole concept of putting bums in seats. I highly, highly suggest that every entrepreneur, every businessman, every startup business seriously considers this concept. Look at it. See where you can cut costs. See if you can lower your profits just by a little bit so that you can increase your clientele, give them that awesome experience, give them that awesome service so that they'll go and rant and rave about you for years to come. They'll stay with you. Those loyal clients, we've had clients that we worked with 2-3 years ago that are still ranting and raving about us till this day. They'll still send us referrals. They loved us. They said, oh man, they charged me pennies to do something. Somebody will come with us and they'll say, hey, I heard about this guy. He loved you guys. He loved what we were doing. I'd love to do business with you guys. And we go, awesome. Yeah, let's do it. And then, you get those kinds of questions of, oh, well, is this a little bit more? And we go, yeah, exactly. We've expanded. We've grown. Now we offer a lot more. And so that's why we can justify higher prices. It works. It sounds counterintuitive to not focus on profits the first year, 2 or 3 years, and only focus on clients, but it works. If you slightly lower those prices, slightly lower those profits, and focus on clients to build that fan base, to put bums in seats, to build that loyal support group, I promise that you will see huge successes down the line. It's not about the short game, it's about the long game. Anybody can do the short game. Anybody can create an idea that, is revolutionary. Anybody can do that. I have a friend who's genius. He knows everything. He knows how to he has amazing creative ideas. But they all fail within the first couple months. And it's because it's only about the short game in his mind. It's not about the long game. It's not about sacrificing to make it to that long game. If you're willing to sacrifice in the short game, you will thrive and succeed and strive in the long game. That's what it's all about. That's what being an entrepreneur is all about, is sacrificing today in order to succeed for tomorrow. You can look at this with any kind of successful, entrepreneur, any kind of, those unicorns, those successful unicorns that, was amazing. Here in Utah, we have an amazing business called Qualtrics. And his story was that he worked in his, basement for hours on end. Wasn't making any profits. He was just living with his parents, I think. Wasn't making anything for the first couple of years. And now he just sold it for, I think, a couple billion with a B. It's amazing what you can do if you focus on the user experience and building that fan base those first couple of years. Because that builds a solid foundation, that builds a solid structure that helps you focus in on your processes. It helps you focus in on your customer service. It helps you focus in on your niche. It helps you focus on, it pushes you to focus on those things that are most important in a business that help you succeed in the long term rather than just profits. You need those processes in place. You need those customer service. You need that, those internal processes, those external processes. You need those legal. You need that paperwork. You need everything like that in place. And lowering your profits just by a little bit so you can focus more on clients pushes you to perfect those processes, perfect that kind of internal, those internal issues that every business has. It forces you to focus on those, so that in the long term you don't have to worry about it. So that 3 or 4 years down the road, you're not scrambling trying to fix processes because your business is failing, and oh no, you should have done this a couple years ago, and now you're failing because you have this huge client and he's not liking what you're doing, and you don't have the process to keep him up. It's all about those first couple years. It's all about building that clientele, building those processes out, focusing on putting bums in seats that helps you succeed in the long term. If you're not willing to, if you don't want to work in the long term, don't follow this plan. I don't know which entrepreneur would want that, but I don't think that entrepreneurial life is for you. If you don't want to, put in the grind right now for the first 2-3 years so that you can succeed 7, 8, 9 years down the road, then entrepreneurship isn't for you. But if you are willing to do that, learn from what we've seen, learn from what we've experienced, and that is focus on your clients first. Focus on building that portfolio, focus on building that business relationship with partners those first couple years. Build out those processes so that down the road you can just focus on boosting your profits and expanding the way that you want to. I hope that makes sense. I hope you learn a little bit from this. Sorry if I've rambled on a little bit and was kind of incohesive. Again, it was my first one, so hopefully Josh likes it and approves it and I can keep going. I'll probably keep, these kinds of ideas that think outside the box. That's the whole point of being an entrepreneur. You got to think outside the box. You got to find different solutions for weird problems, and that's what I really want to present here on this YouTube channel, is presenting these kinds of weird solutions to unique problems. Remember, bums in seats. If you're starting a company, bums in seats. Find a way to get clients to love what you do so that they stay with you years to come. Thanks everyone for joining in. My name is Ben Weber with Big Red Jelly. Have a great day.